stuff on stream. So the game itself started off very basic. I blogged about it a while ago, but the essence of it was a cozy gaming alternative to Hero Quest, which I know our kids have played, and we kind of developed this other idea. It started off with my daughter deciding that what the orcs weren't going to attack because they were having a party, so it kind of it evolved from there. Um, and then I dropped it into Gemini 3 when this AI studio was first out, or when I first became aware of it, and it literally generated a very basic grid that I could have different characters appear on, and slowly over time I added bits to it. I iterated on like so. My initial prompt was quite a complex design concept with spreadsheets and everything, but it computed all of that and it made the skeleton of the game. And then over time, it's developed to the point where I've just bolted bits on, and it's and this is where we've got to. I know I've shown this to you before, but so two modes. The inheritance mode is essentially the tutorial. The frontier mode is the sandbox where you can pretty much do what you like. But I think the inheritance storyline is a little bit more engaging at the moment, so we'll go that way. You can make a character. These do some of this matters, some of it doesn't. Obviously, the name is totally your choice. That comes from the database of generated names, which was courtesy of Claude. I used Claude for a lot of the back end stuff and like building tables of information that I would then drop into the code assistant on AI Studio. But the graphics, there's a whole story there with the graphics. I'm pleased that it's a lot less ugly than it used to be. It used to just be simple vector graphics. So I've managed to figure out a way of having some halfway decent art in it now. The stats, they do matter a bit, but at the moment it's not very. The game isn't very lethal, which I do. It's on my roadmap of things to change because there's not much peril. You're pretty much bunkered up behind the bar, and it's very hard to kill the barman at the moment. So there's not a lot of risk, but it's useful from a testing perspective. So once we get started, there's a bit of a storyline. I'd love to have a bit more art involved in this, make this a bit more flowery. But the letter arrived on a Tuesday, wax sealed with a sigil that you haven't seen in years. Your Uncle Bernard was always eccentric. He left you the deed to a ruin on the edge of the known world. The frontier needs a stiff drink, he wrote, and a keeper who can handle the spillages. You stand before the creaking doors of your new legacy. The air is cold, the floorboards are dusty, and your pockets are light. But the first patrons are already gathering at the threshold. Don't know if we get. No, there's no sound at the moment. I mean, the sound is fairly awful. That's the one of the things that I haven't developed very much at all. I'll put the sound on. Yeah, so obviously the leading could be a little bit more flamboyant, a bit more interesting. We could definitely do a bit of art. It would be great if it was voice acted, wouldn't it? And there's a whole artist ethics versus AI generated argument to be had there, because I'm pretty sure that the Notebook LM can do some fairly convincing voiceovers, so I could generate it, but it will get me crucified, especially if I'm going on a stream to say to people, I've done all this stuff. You don't need voice actors, artists, coders, or anything anymore. I just throw words at an AI and it makes it for me. It's probably I'm going to get lynched. This could be a very short experiment. But so the game state as it is at the moment, you start off with a small tavern space with your Tavernkeeper. I like to set it up a little bit. I've tried to make it customizable. I like this panel to be a bit bigger because a lot of information comes through there. And I also like to get rid of all the buttons on the left because I find them a bit garish. That was initially that was how you would do a lot of the commands. You press the buttons on the left, but I've now developed this character-based UI down here, so that every action that each character can perform, they have the buttons attached to their own character. Yeah, so the sound. I mean, I haven't iterated on that very much at all. I don't think there's a lot of the AI seemed very keen to develop something. A lot of the sound in it for I don't know from a coding point of view, I think it was very limited to the digital stuff. If I wanted samples, if I wanted emulated things, I think I needed to be using a lot more tokens, probably using external software or other sites, and then porting those sounds in, which is a bridge I have not yet crossed. Did it a bit with the visuals to bring in the much better, the more high quality art, but that did involve quite a faff. The story there to get actual characters and floor tiles and the like was that I had to convert it into something called Base 64. So there's separate websites where I was doing that rather than having the vector stuff, which was a bunch of coordinates, which was still taking up a bit of space, but the AI coder was able to manage that. As soon as I replaced those graphics with these high quality ones, the size of the files involved were huge, and it would absolutely. I mean, well, for example, now the free trial period has run out on Gemini 3, whereas before I was just, it didn't really matter. It would take longer. It was, but I'd get there. Once I introduced these graphics, it didn't. It was just like, nope. It would nope out on me and go, no, I can't process that. It's just, I had to take the graphics out in order to be able to iterate further because it was just tripping up. It was tripping over itself. Now I'm having to pay for it, or I get a certain amount of free AI development time, then or from tokens, but that quickly runs out. And if I use, especially if I use the one with the high quality graphics, but now I'm paying for it. If it goes beyond that free, like I get, a few tokens, then it goes, no, you've run out, you need to use an API key. So you put an API key in and you have to set a limit as to how much you can spend. With the high quality graphics in, if I think I'd put my my limit at like £15 or £20, and without the API, without the high quality graphics, I could do several iterations, like depending on, I mean, it's very hard when you're looking at the code. If I show you the code, so these are all the different files that make up the game, and they generally look like that. This is the language that it's been using is React. I don't really know much more than that. I still can't code it. I see it like a Sudoku puzzle. I can see gaps. I've started to understand some of the patterns and the language and the what works where. But I absolutely need the code assistant to do the heavy lifting for me. But by and large, it's fairly logical and fairly tight, fairly light. But the assets, if I look at all of a sudden, this is one line. To give you some context, you can see the line numbers down that column there. Each line takes up one line until you get to the high quality graphics. Line 6. This is all it takes for like one particular character. That's all of it's like it's thousands and thousands of lines of code, and it's just so impossibly large for it to manage, and it just eats through my AI tokens. Because every time it needs to look at the code, if it so much as glances at this, it costs me £2.50. It's madness. But yeah, so I use, especially for purposes of this stream, I'm going to be using this to because it looks prettier. I do have the unpretty version running concurrently. And you can see the classic keeper there. He's ugly as sin, I'm afraid. And if we go into the, you can see I've got it. This is the stripped down light version, but this is where when it comes to doing some live iteration and prompting. Oh, it's reset for some reason. This is where we'll do it because it won't cost me as much. I mean, it won't cost me anything to start with. We'll get a certain amount, hopefully, that I'll be able to just sort of squeeze enough out of a stream for half an hour or an hour that I won't have to pay for it. But you nearly ready for bed, woo woo? Blow dryer. I saw a hairdryer in the garage. In the garage, I think. I don't know why it's there. Sorry, it's bedtime. I won't be able to do this for too long because I'll have to go and read to it. But anyway, yeah. So this will be the live development version, but for showcasing, we'll use this. So I open the tavern. In comes Alice, the apothecary. That's Alice. She's come in, and that was supposedly the opening rush. She's bought a drink, and I've got 1 gold out of it, and she gave me a 1 gold tip, which is lovely, because that's just enough for what I want to do next, which is tidy up. Because we've just inherited this dilapidated tavern, you can see that some of the tiles are smashed. There's smashed furniture, and that's giving me an environment penalty of -1 for each tile. She's also made a table messy now, so the environment is currently at -2.1, which makes it unclean, and that will affect how other patrons will react to it. Whether, if it gets too unclean, some people will just open the door and they'll just go nope, and they'll clear off, they won't come in. Others will love it. The undead, they're quite into their messy taverns. So yeah, I suppose I should go through the UI, but so in short, this is our treasury and stock. This is how much gold we have. This is what enables us to buy things or to improve the tavern, to maintain it. This is our drink stock. This is our food stock. And I recently iterated on this to be more than just a generic drink and food. There's now a whole menu, and you can maintain more than one kind of menu item. And each individual character that comes in does have their own tastes. Like the fancier characters will like they'll have a more refined palate. They won't be particularly impressed with our common ale and our simple broth, and as a result, their satisfaction will deteriorate quicker. If their satisfaction drops too far, they may complain. Our reputation, which is tracked up here, will be impacted, and they might leave. Or they might get a bit fighty with certain types of characters. Anyway, Alice has quite kindly given us the 2 gold we need to resolve our unclean environment. So to clean a tile that is just like her tile is the -0.1, and that's just got like cups and plates on it that need cleaning up. So that doesn't take much in the way of work to clear up, but to fix the smashed or replace the smashed furniture, that comes with a gold cost as well as an action point cost. So the Tavernkeeper has all these actions. I could serve, but nobody wants a drink at the moment because she just got one, so she's good. You can see down the bottom her current desires green drink is, yeah, it's in green and it's crossed out, so she don't need for anything. She's content sitting at the bar enjoying her drink. So there's no need to serve anyone. I could get some more ale in stock, which might be wise. We're all right at the moment, but if there's a sudden rush, we might get caught out with only 9 in stock at the moment. But the food is more of a concern at only 5. If we get hit with a group of halflings, we could be in trouble there. A big party of halflings will absolutely clear us out. But what else is there? There's Quell, which is when it gets rowdy. You can ask people to wind their necks in. Doesn't always work. It depends. Depends on your mind stat, which we chose at the start, versus their mind stat. Eject. You can try and throw people out. They don't always go willingly. Sometimes that can make things worse rather than better. Or you can just you can take them on and just remove them permanently. But what we want to do is clean. So I'm going to clean up in order to get rid of the broken stuff, because Alice has given us the money to do so. Oh, and by doing that, this is a bit scripted. There is a chance you'll find stuff whenever you clean up. People drop stuff, gold, curios, occasionally something like this. But this one is absolutely set up to introduce the player. Will it have a tooltip? Will what have a tooltip? Oh, I've just seen your comment about that's expensive. I mean, I could change gold to coin, copper. Could be something else. I mean, it's just gold because it's generic. It's kind of the point of the game. It's sort of pointing a knowing finger at the silliness of fantasy stuff. That honestly, the business. Please don't think too hard about the business model. you pay the staff 1 gold per turn, so they're on an absolute fortune. It's the best job in the land. It makes no sense. Anyway, yeah, the tooltip. I'm not sure what will have a tooltip. If you mean this item, when you hover over the character ability, what's that in context of? Oh, right. There is an almanac where there's a lot of information. I'll go back to it in a minute. I just want to, since this has popped up, I'm just going to talk through this. So this is an old map fragment. This is useful because when heroes start to come in, you can give it to hero parties on a quest to improve their chances of success. This particular one comes attached with a bit of a story to it that makes out that it's actually your dearly departed Uncle Bernard that has made this map, and there's his ghost telling us a bit more about it. So over on the right, you'll see that that's now switched to the vault. Every time something interesting happens, it will navigate us automatically to these different tabs. It will become clear what each of them does as we go. But yeah, at the moment, the old map fragment has now gone into our secure storage. So the character ability, you said, oh, they've gone now. Typical. Yeah, when you hover over the button, it gives you a brief, it tells you what it is. I mean, I think if I just move us on a bit, they'll come back because we've used their action point as denoted by the. You can see the available actions in the bottom left over here. We've got 0 action points now, so the buttons have disappeared to indicate that. So I'll show you the tooltips that come up when you hover over the buttons when they come back. So this is a prompt by the ghost of Uncle Bernard to lead us to hiring people. You can put an ad in the window, check the briefcase behind you. So there's a little briefcase on this button down here. Hopefully that's enough to prompt the player to press on that, and then you can click on the staff wanted ads, but we haven't got any money, So that shouldn't work. I'm going to click on it. Yeah, no, we've got a little down in our event log. Insufficient gold for advertisement, requires 1G. So I need more customers to be able to afford an advert. So let's start the next interval. So that was 11 o'clock. We opened at 11 o'clock. There's a clock in the top right. Right, so we're on to the second term, which is now 11:30. Time has moved on by 30 minutes. It's a quiet interval. The streets are empty, frustratingly. So yeah, morning stillness. So the tooltips that you mentioned. So if you hover over these, it should give you a brief idea of what it is that the button does. Well, eject, brawl, clean. I don't know. Oh, they might not be coming up. Can you not see those? Yeah, it might not be. That's interesting. There's a little bug in the streaming system, because that's just a little. I guess it's a Windows tooltip. It's just literally text comes up when I hover over these, but it doesn't look like it's coming up on the stream. No. So when I was reading it out, when I hover over this one, it comes up with a little tooltip that says serve, and then in brackets, no orders. When there is someone to serve, it will tell you how much you're likely to make from it in that tooltip, and it'll also highlight the customer or the customers that are looking for drinks. But yeah, no, that's interesting that I can't articulate that to people because they can't see it. I wonder if there must be a streaming option somewhere that enables that. I'll look into that. Let me make a note. I would do if I had a pen. If I was any kind of professional. This one. Action button tooltips. Invisible on stream. So, yeah, so I don't need to clean. I don't have any gold to do anything that involves money, so I can't buy any stock in. Can't put a sign up because annoyingly no one turned up. I know what I can do. So this is where this is the recipes. This is like the kitchen section, I think. Yeah. So these are ingredients that you can make things out of. We don't have many in stock at the moment. Common ale and simple broth don't have any ingredient. We just buy those in. They're bought with pure money. Again, don't think about the realism of it too hard. That's more of a narrative convenience for the game. If you've got gold, you can always get stock in, but it's the crap stuff. Let's just assume that there's a fella next door that makes it, or you've got a guy out the back, or you make it out of like well water and stuff. I don't know. But we can make some more premium drink with tavern malt using our ingredients of roasted malt and fresh hops. So and that doesn't cost us any money. We just need the ingredients. So, and that will give us 12 tavern malt. I will brew that. That's made our drinks rocket up to 21 units, of which 12 are now tavern malt. So hopefully the more discerning beer drinker that comes in will be pleased with the fact that they can drink that instead of our common ale. But now we just need the customers, and that's my action for the turn, for that 30-minute turn. Can't do anything else now because generally either it costs an action point or it costs gold. Rarely both, but there are some exceptions. So resolve events. All we're having is a chat with Alice. There's really nothing else to do. So we start next interval, and Stanley the scribe comes in. We serve him. He gives us 2 gold, which is lovely. It's obviously a bit moneyed. So it's giving us 2 gold, so we can put our advert in now. So let's go and whack our advert up. So now I've clicked the staff wanted button. That's cost us 1 gold, so my gold's gone down to 1. And at the top here, you can see it shows that we've got a staff ad out. That, what does it mean to cost event? Cost event, where's that? Where does it say? I'm not sure what you mean. Could you elaborate, please? I shall carry on while you do. So yeah, the active. This was very much something that I need to circle back round to and make more. One of the frustrating things about using the AI to help develop ideas is, unless you're explicit, it tends to go for fairly kind of anachronistic modern terms, and it's like you have to keep. Even though I've got in the in like the Bible of the code, got some very specific instructions. Now, where is it? No, it's not there. It's here. So yeah, got system instructions, which is like the overarching prompt to tell it what to do, which I've developed over time. You're a senior React developer and a game architect for Tavernkeeper, a complex management sim. Your goal is to maintain a high-performance modular code base that separates state orchestration from narrative and mechanical logic. Obviously, this is something I've also used AI to help develop this lengthy indication of how to iterate, how to support me as my senior coder. Yeah, that was a bit of a. You said it costs an action or gold. Oh, costs. All right. Yeah. So you have an action. Every character, like every hired member of staff, in this case, just the Tavernkeeper, has an action. Has one action point per turn, and a turn is a 30-minute interval of the game. So you can see in the bottom left where it says available actions, I've got one general action. The Tavernkeeper always has general actions because he can do everything. When you hire people, they're only capable of doing certain roles depending on the role that you assign to them, and then they'll have specific actions. It might be a service action, a restock action, etc., etc. And when your hireling uses their action point, then that action point disappears. So yeah, action point is it's the action economy essentially. You know, when you want someone to do something, they need an action point. Otherwise, you could just infinitely do stuff over and over again, and like you could just keep cleaning all the time. So there needs to be a way to restrict or regulate how the characters interact with the environment. So I've got my one action point. I don't need to clean anything. Doesn't look like anyone wants a drink. No. Mouse over my serve button. No one lights up in green. I don't have enough money to buy any stock in. Don't have the ingredients to do anything more than make some more tavern malt, but we've only got a storage space of 25 units, and I'd waste a lot of it if I tried to fit it in. I'd just lose it, so I'm not going to do that. So I don't actually think there's much I can do this turn. I need more customers. So this is another way that you can do the actions. There's 3 different ways. It tells you who would perform it when you've got more than one staff. It tells you who your best person is. So at the moment, it's just Caleb, my Tavernkeeper, who does everything. I'll tell you what we can do. We can have a little sing. We'll entertain some folks. So the bottom middle action button is perform. So this will he's either going to sing a song or recount a tale or something. Hopefully with the intent of affecting the mood of the tavern. So we'll give that a go. Oh, there you go. And that prompts a couple of little barks from the patrons who seem to enjoy it, and that's improved our mood. So Alice and Stanley have both improved. Have got a +1 on their mood now, which technically makes they've now gained the rowdy trait. You can see each character has sort of certain traits that define their behaviour. So in the case of Alice, who is a local, she's got the gang trait, which means they have a tendency to turn up in groups rather than they rarely turn up singly. In the tutorial, this section that's been tweaked slightly because otherwise the tavern, being only 9 tiles big, fills up really quickly. But typically you'll get them in 2s and 3s. Cowardly means that if there's any kind of conflict, they will just go the other way. If anyone gets bifty in the tavern. Rowdy is what they've just obtained from their reaction to my amazing entertainment. The scholar, he's got quiet, which is what's causing a bit of a -1 to the mood there. You can see that mood is being affected. That's why the total for mood is only +1, despite the fact I've just got them both rowdy. Because Stanley is normally quiet. So we've just basically made him neutral now. He's being less of a miserable sod. So I've used my action. Not much else to do this turn. What I'm waiting for is the staff ad to hook someone in. What I'm hoping for is somebody's going to come through the door looking for work soon, and then I can hire them. And hopefully they'll be hireable. So let's go to the next interval. Here we go. A couple of soldiers coming in. 3. Great, and one of them's looking for a different job. Oh, and Herbert the Weaver. So Herbert the Weaver is also looking for a job. He's Bernard's old friend. So you can see at the bottom there, recruitment. It costs 2 gold to recruit him, 4 gold to recruit the soldier. So I'm short on money. I'm just going to take the local on for now. So I'm going to recruit him as a server. He can basically do the cleaning and serve the folk. I often find it's useful to have a server and a storeman because they have passive abilities as well. The server will always serve someone if they need it. So one person will get served, which always keeps it stops satisfaction from deteriorating. And the storeman always generates 1 drink and 1 food per turn, so it kind of keeps the stocks up. Because oh yeah, we're looking pretty bleak for food. I actually might hire him as the storeman on the strength of that, because then I can get him in and I get him to make some food. So there you go. I've used a new storeman to generate 5 food. I could take the soldier on as well, but I've only got 3. Oh no, I can't. I've just blown all my money on that. So I should probably do a bit of a clean up because there's a messy table over there. What's the environment like? It's at -0.5, yeah. So we'll have a bit of a clean up, keep the place spick and span. Alright, that sound is because it's become quite rowdy because we've got the soldiers come in. The soldiers have brought the mood up, so that sound is meant to be, that's an AI's interpretation of a chatty tavern. That's meant to be kind of susurrating of talkative and chattering and reveling patrons. So if I were to, if I quell, next time I've got some actions to spare, if I try and quell them, that should quiet them down again. I haven't got anything else to do. I can't do it at the moment. Let's see what goes on. Is it annoying? Is that sound going to be an issue for people? I can probably turn the game sound down a bit if it feels like I'm competing. Volume control don't seem to do a thing. I'll have to look into that. Okay, so I'll end that turn. busy. So there's a couple of folks chatting. We've got some zombies. Crikey, it's busy. It must be, yeah, it's the lunchtime rush. That's a shame. We just missed out on a trader then. They're good. They'll have plenty of money on them. Right, well, the zombies have done us a favour because 2 zombies have come in and totally killed the mood. You see the mood has now dropped. You can you see that tooltip? And that tooltip comes up. That comes up on the stream, doesn't it? So it shows you who's contributing to the mood, which is currently at +1. But despite the fact Alice, Stanley, Mabel, James and Elizabeth are all quite lively, having Zuby the Undead and Charles the Shambler and my poor environment has killed it a bit. What's the yes in response to? So I could now hire the soldier. It's my. I mean, really, I should put her on the door, shouldn't I? I don't know that I need to, but I know maybe I do. Let's whack her on the door. There you go. Right. So now she's the doorman, and I can give her instructions not to let certain type. There's some tooltip issues there though. Yeah, it needs to not happen. So there's a bug that I need to we can iterate on at some point. I need to change the Z levels of these tooltips. That tooltip should not be coming over the tooltip I'm trying to look at because I can't read it. But yeah, so I can determine who I want to put on the no entry list. I don't for now. I just let it happen. But yeah, I need to tooltip Z levels. See, I've learned some things from this, vibe coding. I wouldn't have known what a Z level is, but it's the depth at which different the Z levels are a constant thing. You know, like the what lays on top of what, and getting that right and tweaking that. You know, that you've got the barks, which are the little speech bubbles. That's another. You know that. I didn't know they were called barks. You've obviously got the tooltips which appear. You've got the game assets. You've got the game background. Their cards. They've all got different Z levels, and getting that right to make sure they interact in the right way is sometimes a bit because the AI doesn't have eyes, doesn't see it in the same way that we do, so it doesn't necessarily comprehend that a thing is going to overlap another thing. It doesn't see that as being a problem. It doesn't know what we want to prioritize in any given moment. So I have to, yeah, that's something that has to be policed quite a lot. Anyway, I really should go and do bedtime, so I'll just finish this term and then. I think this has been an excellent experiment. I don't know if is there anything in particular you wanted me to show you, G, before I wrap up. So there's another bug actually. That Storman's action has just been used, and I didn't tell her. It's just like he's lost his action point. I'm not sure why that's happened. It might be because what's meant to be a passive action, where he's just topped up the stores, it's treating that as not as a passive action now. It's using it as the action. But which isn't, I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but it needs to happen at the end of the turn if I haven't given him anything to do, because I might still have wanted him to do something. Okay, we can do this. I mean, it won't be for an hour or two potentially. I don't hold me to it. Doing it later because the way it works now is I was going to do a bit of Sudoku with Scarlett to get her to go to sleep, and then Amber will be. It takes a while to get her to go down. I probably shouldn't be mentioning my kids' names on the stream either, should I? I'm sure I have elsewhere, isn't I? Anyway, yeah. All right. Brilliant though. That's an excellent initial test. It's given me. I don't tell you what. I need to build up my my streaming voice stamina because I'm feeling very dry and very throaty now. I don't know how the pros do it. I've got more respect for influencers now that do like 8 hour streams. I've done it for 30 minutes. We've been doing this. Oh, I need a water. Yeah. All right. I'll text you, but I'm gonna sack this off for now. Oh, Veteran James is gone. Just want to see what happens next. So what would happen? At some point, there's some scripted events that happen in this first day. There's an orc boss that basically killed your uncle. It's meant to drag you into the storyline a bit and get you emotionally invested. And he becomes a bit of a thorn in your side until you figure out how to get rid of him. Anyway, yes. Sorry, I could rabbit about this forever, which is probably a handy thing for a stream. But yeah, I'll pack it in for now. Thank you very much for your time and your feedback. Ping me if you've got any more coherent thoughts. I appreciate that on a text stream. It's not the best time to do it, but yeah, any thoughts, greatly appreciated. Catch you later.